رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm very pleased to talk to you today in this webinar about the DTV Startup Challenge under the patronage of KFPM President. The program basically, the program aims to aims to create startups founded by students, faculty, researchers, and entrepreneurs. And this is probably the first time that we bring faculty and researchers, along with students and entrepreneurs in such a wonderful opportunity. These are the general areas by which, for ideas and applications that we are welcoming: water treatment services, of course, oil and gas, different applications, upstream, downstream, whatever, renewable energy in general, like in services, disruptive digital enablers, Industrial Revolution 4.0, fintech and related applications, basic and intermediate chemicals, metals, manufacturing and machinery and equipment, aerospace and defense, drones, for example, materials, plastics and applications, and finally services in terms of optimization tools and logistics and other commodities. And the good news is that with these general areas for ideas and applications, we have already a list of 65 ideas available for those who are, who want to also know about those ideas. Some of them are IPs that can be commercialized with some market research available. Some of them are like IPs shared from Zahra and Techno Valley partners like Schlumberger and Halliburton, and others like general ideas that we know from the business community. But these are like general areas for ideas and applications, and we are open to accommodate as many ideas as possible. I would like also to thank the university for being the owner of this initiative, and also the stakeholders from within the ecosystem itself. KFPM Business School, they are playing an instrumental role in many parts of this challenge. Zahra and Techno Valley Company being the commercial arm of the university and overseeing also the Zahra and Techno Valley Science Park. Also, we have the Innovation and Technology Transfer Office in terms of the IP management and licensing and other related services and matters. And also we have Technology Advancement and Prototyping Center, TAP, by which we can avail, inshallah ta'ala, all the services of TAP basically for coming up with MVPs and also products and prototypes. And finally, of course, the Entrepreneurship Institute, which basically helps through incubation and other services. In terms of the challenge itself, the challenge is going to be for about 6 months. 6 months doesn't mean that all the teams who are going to join should work for 6 months. If your business is ready to go to the market before 6 months from the date we start the challenge, that's wonderful, that's fine. But these are our expectations. So we have a preparation stage. We launched the campaign on last Sunday via email and via also Twitter, and we started to do some visitations to different places in the university, like the faculty cafeteria, the student cafeteria, the student mall, the prep here. Tomorrow, inshallah, we are giving also talks in various departments, and also will continue to be also in other wonderful places in the university. The KFPM Business School tomorrow also will have during the lunchtime, and also other timings, also some people talking about the challenge itself. But this campaign is about a week plus also the screening. Now those who are gonna who applies and join basically the challenge, they're gonna go through a wonderful opportunity to learn about entrepreneurial thinking and the mindset and some of the tools that will take their ideas further basically when it comes to going to the market through a boot camp over a weekend. The boot camp will take place on the 20th of February, inshallah, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and we will email you once you apply, and we basically go through the screening of the ideas, inshallah, the schedule, in details, and Dr. Mohammed Al-Sagaf, KFPM president, will be inshallah inaugurating that boot camp, and he will be also attending as well during the various times during the boot camp activities. Also, we will assign basically projects and funding in terms of grants and seed funding. I'm going to talk about that in later on. But also we'll be assigning mentors during the boot camp as well as afterwards, and also there will be some business coaching by professional consultants. Now, once those teams who have been formulated during the boot camp and they are ready now to join our incubation stage, they will for about 5 months, 4 to 5 months, they will basically be provided with various services, prototyping to develop minimum viable products or MVPs. They will have opportunity to talk to legal advisors and receive legal consultation. They will have mentoring from the business community as well as from the Dhahran Techno Valley partners. They will have basically business coaching, and they will have the opportunity to utilize any lab available at KFPM or from our partners within the Techno Valley for testing purposes and experimentation. And also they will have the opportunity to pitch their business ideas, learn how to pitch their ideas in a minute, learn how to pitch their ideas as well, for investment purposes, preparing them just to go and launch their business. And also there will be a lot of other activities that I'm going to talk about, inshallah, in the coming slide. Now, the last phase of this challenge is basically the launching stage, by which there will be a demo day to gain, more funding for teams who require more funding, and also hopefully they will secure early customers or early adopters. So at least now they understand the market and they're ready to go to market for those who basically are still working their way. And also there will be some teams who are ready, inshallah, will be in the market. Now, this is a timeline for the entrepreneurial activities, during, starting from February until July. So we already kicked off the challenge on Sunday, as I said, and the boot camp, inshallah, will be on the 20th of February for 3 days for that weekend of the 20th of February. And since then until the demo day, there will be a lot of opportunities and activities provided by the main stakeholders of this challenge. KFPM Business School, for example, will provide startup consultancy. They will offer 5 bi-weekly seminars on various topics related to businesses. There will be 2 business trips to banks and other sectors. There will be also some training workshops. The Entrepreneurship Institute as well will be providing training workshops, technical business mentoring through the business community network that we have over here, business coaching, 2 industrial trips, 5 bi-weekly seminars as well, complementing what the business school is doing. There will be also grant funding through what's called the Keys of Goodness funding, by which also this will help those who have just a concept to go and take it to the market through an MVP or a minimum viable product. And also there will be incubation services. So wonderfully, we already renovated, by the way, the space that we have at the Institute over here in the Innovation Cluster building. And they're wonderful new services and opportunities to do businesses, inshallah, that will be available for those who join the challenge. And then also we have the Innovation and Technology Transfer Office, the TAP, and also the Dhahran Techno Valley Company. They will be coming, contributing through seed investments and grants, MVP and product development, legal and other incubation services, lab testing, and also we'll have a weekly meeting with those entrepreneurs, faculty, students, researchers who are working on their entrepreneurial venture to pitch their idea, and also will be availing, all our sources to listen to their challenges as they go with this journey, and we'll help them to network with people, inshallah, throughout the whole experience. And then at the end, inshallah, we'll have our demo day, and then hopefully we'll have startups going to the market. Now, in terms of funding, and this is probably my slide, the last slide that I'm going to present, and then I'm going to give, inshallah, more time for discussion and questions. I believe that there will be many questions, but in terms of the opportunities of investments through basically the EI, we have the Keys of Goodness grant. It's 50K to 100K reals. It's only for developing an MVP or a minimum viable product, and it's basically for service, application, and products in general. there's like a type 1 grant. It's 100,000 up to 200,000 riyals. Again, it's a, for concepts or pre-startup to develop an MVP. These are like specifically given for technology-based startups and products. And then also those who already have minimum viable products ready and they need to go to the market directly. We have a seed fund up, between 200,000 riyals until like 2 million riyals, and it's also for technology-based products and as well as services. So these are like the available investments. Inshallah, we hope also that other partners in the Dhahran Tikkun Valley will join us, such as Wa'id. I talked today with the managing director of Wa'id, Saudi Aramco Entrepreneurship Center. Inshallah, also they're going to be contributing also their like loans and VC funds to those who are going to participate in the challenge. And with this, I end up my introduction, webinar about the challenge itself, the timeline, the services available. It's an opportunity, I believe, for everyone to come together and work to serve basically the economy of the kingdom through this wonderful initiative. And with this, I now open the floor for you to send me questions. By the way, I believe you can ask questions, via direct questions, verbal questions, or also you can type on the I think the application also questions, and then we will address them all. So I'm ready, to take any question, and thank you for listening with us, this evening. I believe there's a question regarding basically type 1 grant. Of course, it's basically a grant, so there's no equity or shares that we're going to take, from those who are going to be granted, like this money. You apply for like the grant basically, and we give you the grant based on installments, based on also milestones that you're going to present basically to the challenge, by which we help you just go step by step through various like milestones to develop an MVP. So basically, it's 100,000 to 200,000 riyals. So we will help you, to take that money on installments to build and buy equipment and develop your basically product that you're going to show also to the second, stage of funding, which is the seed fund, or later on maybe a venture capitalist, fund. I believe I'm receiving other questions, so let me just read them. Okay, there's another question that talks about non-Saudi students. I believe at the Entrepreneurship Institute, we have many examples of non-Saudi students who already, mashallah, tabarakallah, they are in the market. And I think we have a wonderful relationship with Sagia. And there's a simple way, just like to open this business. Please come and apply, to the challenge. Join us, and we'll help you, inshallah, to go to the market. So there aren't any problem or issues for non-Saudis, whether faculty, researchers, or or basically, sorry, students to join the challenge. I believe there's like also other questions. Patent pending. What is the legal? How should I proceed? So, any questions regarding to the IP management and patents, whatever, we have our Innovation and Technology Transfer Office, Dr. Riyad Zahan and his team are more than happy to address these questions. But I can tell you that, if you have a patent pending still, since it's basically, submitted for, patenting, you can work on it. There's no issue with that. In terms of legal, we have already, a legal framework, when it comes to students and also for faculty. Now we're working, inshallah, now, a framework just to avail basically opportunities for Saudis and non-Saudi faculty to open, businesses, be the founders. Inshallah, is going to be released very, very soon, inshallah ta'ala, within, the coming 2 weeks. This is regarding like the legal. Well, I have another question. It says, if I have a patent and I want to develop a prototype, how much time I have to do a prototype? Well, it depends basically on the type of the product that you are pursuing. It depends on also how much time you are willing to spend on this. It depends on so many factors. But I have, for example, a guy who had a Lego prototype of a wheelchair that moves via an application for totally paralyzed people. The application uses the eye movement to command the wheelchair to move in the various directions and even to stop. So he came to us with a Lego minimum viable product, let me call it, or like a prototype, an early stage prototype. And then within 8 months, 6 to 8 months, he managed basically to develop a full functional prototype on an actual wheelchair. And he was one person. At the time, we didn't have all of these wonderful opportunities like TAP available. This was like 2 years back. So now we have TAP. We have basically 3D printers available at the institute. We have, I believe, the mechanical engineering department. We have the RI. We have different entities in the university, and we have, of course, the labs in the Dhahran Techno Valley. Our partners in the Dhahran Techno Valley, they are availing, their labs, but they have also, facilities to help us rapid prototype your ideas. So we don't have, inshallah, a problem. As far as you folks are ready to work, we are ready, inshallah, to help you and enable you to be successful. I'm going to also receive a few. Okay, the question is that, can you elaborate more on the bootcamp program, classes, and classes types? So basically, a bootcamp is sort of a compressed version of learning. You come over like 1 to 2 to 3 days. On Thursday we're going to start like around like 5:30 registration, Maghrib prayer, and then we start at 6, inshallah, o'clock. And then we'll take like classes throughout like the 3 days, blended with mentoring, blended with a lot of discussions, blended with a lot of practice-based learning activities and inspiring talks, and as well as engagement with judges. And then at the end, you folks who apply to the challenge and join the challenge, inshallah, will be pitching your ideas to a team or a panel of judges to show basically their what do you have. Basically, they will give you feedback. So this is like basically about the boot camp. The other question is that this will be repeated next semester? Of course, we'll have this, inshallah, throughout like every semester. And by the way, even if the challenge stopped, you can come to us, started like, and you missed the opportunity, come to us, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate your idea and let you join basically the challenge. The good thing about the challenge is that, we are very flexible when it comes to these things, but we prefer that you join us from the beginning. We prefer that you don't miss the opportunity of joining the boot camp. If you cannot join us this semester, of course, inshallah, next semester you can join us. I have also other questions. How is the installments of the fund are provided? Is there any strategy? So, for example, I'm going to talk about the Case of Goodness, for example, grant, which is the first grant that we have in the table over here. 50,000 to 100,000. We have been already experimenting with this grant. So this is how it works. Like the funding committee will say, for example, you are granted this grant. We approve your 100,000 riyals, as they say, and we approve also that you're gonna take, for example, 50,000 the first installment. You work on the first milestone. You come back to us. You submit all the documents and the evidence that you finished stage number 1 or milestone number 1. Immediately, within like 2 to 3 days, inshallah, we'll issue for you second milestone. You go and come back, and so on and so forth. So this is how basically it works. So another question is that, please, for the idea that not yet patented, could it be considered for a of course. Coca-Cola, I don't know if you know this, but Coca-Cola, by the way, until now they didn't patent their recipe of Coca-Cola itself. It's considered as a trade secret. IPs are not necessarily patents. IPs, you have different types of IPs. It could be a copyright, it could be a trademark, it could be a trade secret, it could be whatever. But if you don't have a patent, we will tell you after talking to you, after the boot camp, during the boot camp, maybe it's better to patent this, and we'll help you to patent this. If not, you will go ahead with this and probably treat it as a trade secret. But there's no problem with that. Another question here: are the groups who joined by the Keys of Goodness program eligible to have the grant? Of course. I mean, it's up to the committee to decide if you need more funding in terms of grant. Otherwise, they will tell you, for example, you have already, mashallah, working on the MVP, you are almost there, go for the seed fund. Or if you need to develop further, like your MVP, maybe it didn't work out to be like the way you expected. Of course, it's up to the committee at the end to tell you basically, you can go for the grant, or you can basically go for a seed fund investment. Any other questions, inshallah? Okay.
What are the requirements?
Just receiving questions. So if a team win a type 1 grant and develop an MVP, would you there an opportunity to have seed fund? Of course. By the way, the tracks that we are asking for, if you look to the application form, the application form will ask you specifically, do you have an idea as a concept, or do you have basically an MVP, or you have, for example, a functional prototype? Okay. So why we are asking these questions? Because we are expecting that some of you, they have only a concept. So we have funding resources and other learning opportunities for them, just to go all the way to help them develop an MVP. Those who have an MVP, by the way, and they are willing, they're ready just to go to the next stage, we also can classify them, or recommend them to go to the seed funding, and then we'll avail for them, the funding, and also the right, hopefully, training and coaching, inshallah, to take them to the market. Can you please elaborate more on how to fill the DTV Startup Challenge application form? It's very long, a few much details. I think the form will take. We tested that person. I tested that. It takes usually 5 to 10 minutes, but believe me, it's worth it, because the type of questions that you're going to answer and address in the application form will help us, avail the right resources for your challenge. And I think just 5 to 10 minutes, inshallah, it's not basically a lot for you to apply for. And if you have any questions, please, you can talk to me by my phone, by email, by mobile phone. At any time, you can also come and see us over here in the Techno Valley. What are the requirements for applying? This is a very good question. I believe if you are passionate enough, if you want to do really a change, and contribute to the economy of the kingdom over here, if you have a dream, basically to create a startup, and you need our support, we are there to support you. We are there to enable you and help you go forward, inshallah, to the market. So if you are passionate, you have the energy, this is your challenge, come and join us. If I have a non-KFPM person, what will be the legal? If I understood this correctly, anyone from, KFPM, non-KFPM, they can join the challenge as far as they speak English, of course, because the boot camp activities are in English. Legal wise, these are things that, can be discussed later on, because, they're like shares and like, royalties and whatever that's going to go along between the founders, you guys. So that's something that's, not a problem that we see. Another question is service for technical solution in a specific field is acceptable in the challenge if there is no business in the technical field? In KSA, I didn't understood the question honestly correctly. Let me read the question again. It says, is service for technical solution in a specific field is acceptable in the challenge if there is no business in technical field? Well, anyhow, we are open to any idea that you have. Just, apply for the challenge, talk about your idea in writing, and come to us. We will, inshallah, sort it out. Honestly, I apologize. I couldn't understand your question. Maybe if you can also, type the question again to clarify basically what are you looking for. Are you saying, for example, like the technical question, if you have like an idea that has a technical, let me say sound, you want to apply for and it doesn't exist in the kingdom, are you, are you eligible to apply? Yeah, that's fine. I think if I understood the question correctly. Can the idea be in training and education? Well, just apply and we'll see, of course, if it's like we said, part of the service, and you have, for example, an idea that empowers, for example, Industry Revolution 4.0 for education purposes. That's fine. If you empower, drones, for educational purposes, that's fine. If you go and have something that will ease a process to optimize a certain process, that's fine. One of the examples that we have in terms of the ideas, for example, you can use mathematical optimization, for example, to optimize, for example, if someone is delivering a package like DHL and they have 5 destinations within the Dhahran area to deliver, which one they should basically, go through, which one will take them faster to deliver the package, so they optimize the time. And this requires a lot of mathematical work, and programming, and it has a lot of, AI, for example, and machine learning. So basically, these are services, again, you can apply for that. Other ideas? By the way, if you wanna have a question and you wanna, use your mic to ask me the question, you can raise a hand in the application to ask a voice question. So it's good also to have this interaction. So it's an opportunity. I'm here. Just ask. So here's another question. How is the connection to governmental organizations, SABIC? Do we help in connecting to these organizations? Well, this is our, if you like, the bread and butter. This is like our comfy zone, connections with the various enablers that will help your business move forward. We have wonderful relationships with Saudi Aramco and their engineering services, for example. You want specs, from the field regarding a product that you are envisioning to come up with and sell it to Aramco, will help you with that. You have something similar to SABIC, we will do that. We have wonderful relationships with various entities in the kingdom, like Munshaat, like Sagia, other funding, entities, within the Dhahran Techno Valley area or within the kingdom, in large. So, I mean, for us, don't worry about that. We can help you with those connections. And I can assure you that even the president himself is going to help with us connecting, if we don't have yet those connections, with various entities. More questions. Where can we find details about the shares of the ownership for each party of the stakeholders? Okay, this is also another wonderful question. It's very important. Now, throughout the bootcamp, we're gonna, touch bases about, the financial parts of your business, how you start thinking about the valuation, what is the role role basically of, for example, a board that you're going to establish, and basically who controls what, you know, the shares, how you divide the shares. These are details that's going to go throughout basically the boot camp, and also through mentoring, and as well as inshallah ta'ala, you know, through the program is going to be more and more, you know, clear throughout the program. It depends case by case. It depends on the type of the business you are doing. It depends, you know, how many parties are engaged in the process itself. It depends on the contribution of each, you know, member of the party. But I can assure you, we have wonderful people who already have created startups in the market, and we have also our business school faculty, and we have also our business coaches basically, who can help you also understand what is the best way to split the shares and learn how to basically, you know, control the business. Other questions? Can an international collaborator be accepted to be part of the startup at a later stage, although the funding has been provided without him initially? Of course. I mean, you know, businesses grow with time, and as you grow your business, you realize that I need to, for example, collaborate or partner with other entities. So in fact, we encourage this. We encourage basically joint ventures in later stages. We encourage basically international collaborations. We encourage, you know, all sorts of partnerships, as far as these partnerships and relationships will add value, you know, to your business and will make your business more successful. So this is basically something that we encourage, and we welcome, and we basically would love to see in the future. Another question is, the grant type 1 specified only to produce MVP, or it's okay to get it to start the operation of newly developed application? Well, I mean, it depends on your business. Just apply, and we'll discuss this through the committee, inshallah. But, you know, don't worry about these details, because the funding is there to help you folks go to the market. So that's the whole purpose. Okay, what is an MVP? That's another question that is coming out. MVP is a minimum viable product. You know, usually when you want to seek an investment and you have a business idea or a concept, okay, usually investors don't like to, or like they fear always, I mean, to invest money in a business concept. So what we do, we provide with a grant to develop, you know, a prototype that is, you know, functional, at least, you know, with the basic, let me say, a simple way. You're going to see, for example, a lot of wires and circuits, and probably like the size of something that's supposed to be small, it's going to be big. So that's, as far as it's working, it makes it's, you know, it's basically alive. This is called a minimum viable product. So you can demonstrate, you know, your concept to basically investors, and then they believe that the technology is worth investment, and then they can give you the money now to go and develop the prototype further, to turn it into, you know, a better functional prototype, and then to a product at the end. If you have, for example, an idea of an app, an MVP, probably enough MVPs to develop, for example, a MOOC, you know, for your, you know, app, and then go and, you know, do an initial programming for some of the features to show just like how it's going to work. Again, this could be considered like a minimum viable product of MVP. Something that you're going to use for basically testing, basically with customers, and also to make it more attractive for investment. So just also the customer part is very important. Again, you can raise your hand through the application of the webinar, and you can also ask us via voice if you want. That's also, you know, fine, and we look forward.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Wael, for this interactive webinar. Actually, it is shortening the distances between the work and the university. Actually, I'm a graduate student at KFUBM Business School. We have an idea to integrate some currently available softwares with others to make the life easy for a part of the society. Okay. So my question is, to do this application or add-ins to this required software or application, we require to do the development outside of Saudi. Okay, just to reduce the cost of development or to find the capabilities that we require to do the application of that we are aiming to. Is this having any restriction that we have to do everything inside Saudi after the prototype? We'll provide the prototype, no issue.
Well, that's a very good question. I think you know, the best thing is to apply, you know, and describe more, you know, discuss more of this with us. And we don't mind, by the way. We had before, for example, a few students at the time when they didn't have iOS programmers, for example, like, you know, or Android programmers for a certain application. This was like 3-4 years back. You know, we gave them like the you know, some funding through business plan competitions or through, you know, our Kids of Goodness grant, and they had to hire someone, you know, from outside who's registered, you know, in their country and just like do the programming. And you know, but I think nowadays, I mean, you know, we have in Saudi Arabia many services that can help you, you know, develop further your application. But this shouldn't stop us from helping you and supporting your basically, you know, development of your MVP to make it like a functional prototype, or even take it to be, you know, a final product. So just apply and, you know, go through the challenge. Inshallah, you know, we'll help you with that. Have I answered your question? Okay, we have another question here.
Actually, thank you for
Go ahead. Sorry.
The point is the timeline for applying for when it will be closed for the applying.
Yeah, the deadline is the 16th of February, Sunday by 4 o'clock. If you go and click application form on Twitter or via our email, you'll be able to see like the deadline. We will be sending also tweets to remind you, inshallah, about the deadline, but you can apply anytime.
Is there a hesitation to give more details, yani to be very detailed in our solution that we are proposing, or we have to provide some link for a ready-made prototype at the moment, or only ideas?
No, you just go and apply in the form. It tell you, describe more about your business, the problem they are solving, the solution itself, why now, why not yesterday or tomorrow. It talks about also a little bit about the business model, you know, a few questions, you know, that will tell us, and for example, the type of funding, and then you can write also whatever you want inside those, you know, questions that you need to type and fill the gap, you know, the typing like basically whatever you want, and then we will basically discuss with you further, inshallah, after like you apply, and also during the bootcamp. So no worries with that. You can type that.
Thank you, Dr. Wael, for answering my question. I'm very glad to be in person. Thank you so much. My name is Siraj Munir. Thank you so much.
Excellent, Siraj. Good luck with your application, inshallah ta'ala.
See you, inshallah.
There's another question, says, if my challenge require more than 6 months to complete an MVP, okay, would that work? Well, that's fine, of course. I mean, you know, it depends. You know, maybe it requires 6 months, maybe it requires more. I mean, you know, if you saw basically like, you know, this slide, let me go back to here. The last part of the is the launching stage. So we expect some teams basically to go to the market before even basically the launching stage. We expect teams to go to the market, you know, at the deadline. We expect people who already started to secure their like early stage, you know, customers. We expect also people who already, you know, working on their prototypes. Of course, you know, sometimes, you know, some problems might take more time. We understand that, but we will try as much as we can to help you, you know, move forward with your, you know, a journey and make it, inshallah, within, you know, a specified time, so you go to the market, you know, inshallah, easily. Now, there's another question, says, how I apply? It's very simple. Click on the basically the link that we sent via, you know, Twitter or via like the email on the university campus-wide, and it will take you basically to the Google form. Fill the form, you know, submit the form. That's it. Very simple. Is there any other questions, ya shabab? So we don't have any other questions so far. So I'm gonna wait probably for another 1 or 2 minutes to see if there are other questions. Okay, I believe there's one person who raised his hand, so we're gonna listen to him now. تفضل يا أخي.
السلام عليكم دكتور يعطيك العافية. Can one of the faculty be a member in my team?
Allah Haik Muhammad. Yeah, I think we encourage, of course, we encourage faculty. Of course, faculty should be joining, inshallah, and researchers should be joining the challenge. Faculty also are encouraged to work with students. Students work with faculty and researchers. Students can work alone. You know that's not a problem at all. In fact, we would love to see teams with faculty and students working together, inshallah. Any other questions, ya Muhammad?
Thank you دكتور. Thank you. شكرا.
الله يحييك. حياك الله. Shabab, any other question? So I think we don't have any other further questions. I mean, I'm very thankful to all of you who joined us tonight for the seminar or the webinar. Tomorrow, inshallah, if you want to have more questions about the challenge itself, I'm going to be, inshallah, in the EE department, between 2 and 3. Our team, from the startup challenge will be, inshallah, at the faculty cafeteria. They will be also at the student cafeteria. They will be at the mall. They will be also at the KFP Business School during the lunchtime. And my office is, an email is there for you. You can just talk to me at any time.